My father loved golf. He didn't get to play very often, but I remember that he had a manky old set of clubs that he kept in the shed, and on Saturdays he'd go out in the backyard and chip wiffle balls around and dream of all the courses he would love to play. By the time I was old enough to play with him, he'd had 10 back surgeries and both of his knees were done. He could barely swing a golf club. But it didn't matter. We only got a few rounds together, and I remember them fondly. We would go up to the university golf course near my home, and I remember one particular day when my brother made his first ever par by chipping in at the 8th hole. The celebration was truly epic. Shortly after my father passed away, I decided to take my brothers and go to Pebble Beach and golf the links there. It was my father's dream course, and he never got a chance to play it. As we approached the iconic 7th hole, arguably one of the most beautiful par 3s in the game of golf, I reached down into my bag and pulled out a manky old Wilson golf ball that I had pulled from my father's bag when he passed away. I put it on a tee and sent it flying with a smooth pitching wedge into the Pacific Ocean and said goodbye to my father. I know golf is just a game, it's just a hobby. It's something that we do to pass the time, but in moments like that, somehow it feels like something more. Golf is all about connections. It's about the people that we love and the time that we spent making memories together. Go make some of those memories today. And if you still have the chance to catch a round with your dad, call him right now and set a tee time. This is For the Record.
Golf, the hardest game we love to play. These are the ramblings of 3 nerdy golfers. Our continuing mission, explore strange new swing techniques, to seek out lower handicaps and awesome golf courses, and to boldly swing where a safe layup would have been the smarter choice.
All right, welcome to another For the Record. Today we have a great episode planned. We've got, we got some news.
Do you think we should plan a not great episode one of these days, just so that we can be like, thanks for joining us to listen to our crap?
Today you can look forward to some truly mediocre content.
Yeah. We've got some updates. We had a mini major in Midway, and it was a great time. We've got some updates on that. We got a Talk Nerdy to Me, and At the Turn, and then we'll see what happens at the end. It could be a little... We'll wing it, and then we'll go with the birdie bev.
Awesome. So first, before we jump into our mini major, I just wanted to do a little jump in and talk about our round today. We played our home course for, at least for John Paul, the last time for at least several months. Tell us why that is, John Paul.
Well, I'm going in for major neck surgery tomorrow morning at 9:30 a.m., and they're going to take out one of the discs in my neck and replace it with some steel plates, which apparently is not conducive to golfing. So I can't golf for 8 weeks after that's done.
I will say it's probably about time for this to happen. We alluded to it earlier on the podcast, but today while we were golfing, I didn't think you were going to make it. I thought you were going to keel over and die on the course.
So we talked a bit about in the car about my round and how I was doing. I think one of the reasons why I played so well today, I wasn't paying attention to myself at all. I was so worried about John Paul. I was focused 100% on, is John Paul going to survive? What can I do to make this a better experience for John Paul?
I wish that we had some video of my swing. It was the most atrocious thing I've ever seen. The pain in my neck causes me to fall back on my right side, which brings this horrible duck hook into play and a fat strike. And I got to the point where I could not make my body go left. I could not do it no matter what, because it's my left arm that's quasi-paralyzed. And it was so bad that I was standing on my left foot so that there was no way I could sway right. And I looked like a wounded flamingo flailing a stick. It was the most awful-looking swing ever.
You happened to make it work. I was quite surprised. But I will say this. We joke a little bit on the pod about how some of the birdie bevs we have are not diabetic friendly. And so you're like, well, if I'm going to do it, it better be a good one because I'm going to lose a foot. if you do happen to lose a foot, make sure it's your right one because you can stand on that left one and still golf.
Yeah, I can still golf missing a right foot. It'll be okay. No, but so basically today was bonus golf for me. We were not supposed to be able to golf today. The stars just aligned, and my wife suggested, hey, maybe we could catch one more round, right before surgery. And bless her heart, she allowed us to go today. I didn't think I was going to get another round after our Wasatch round. And so I had zero expectation for score today. It hurt more than I expected it to. And we were joking on the fourth hole. Cody was like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I should probably go see a doctor about this.
Definitely should.
So I'm going in at 9:30 to see a doctor about it.
John Paul aside, Eric, you had a bit of a run today. So one of Eric's big-time goals is to beat John Paul and myself outright stroke play. He already did that to John Paul earlier this year. And this year, today...
I did it again.
So close. He was off by 2. You beat John Paul.
Yeah, I beat John Paul again.
You beat John Paul handily, but you didn't catch me.
Yeah. I had 2 blow-up holes.
We both played quite well.
Yeah.
It was a good day for you guys. And Eric did ask, in the nicest possible way, he's like, do you want to play a scramble? Because I was just falling apart. And I was like, no, you're having a burner. Finish your round. Because he had it going on at the beginning of the round. Eric's round was solid.
It makes me wonder what we would have done if we'd scrambled, how well we could have scored.
We'd have blown it up. But you had a very solid round going. You had 2 blow-up holes right at the end. But
one of them was just a terrible
Yeah.
pin. I couldn't get it in that hole.
That pin was evil.
I think
it was hard.
The hole was crowned for sure. It didn't matter which way we went at it. It was downhill on all sides. It was ridiculous.
Sometimes putts break left to right. Sometimes they break right to left. Sometimes a putt breaks whichever direction you are as far from the hole as possible, and that's what this was. It made no difference. It basically was like Makembe Mutombo. It just beat the ball away. Like you got close, it smacked it away.
Back in my day, the hole was uphill both ways.
That hole was uphill always.
It
was like a volcano hole at a mini golf course. Like
you
couldn't get to it. It was just...
I was furious.
I will say Eric and I are still planning to golf while you're recovering, and it gives us some time to catch up score-wise. Eric and I both dropped our handicaps a little bit more today, and I have no intentions of stopping.
No, and that's fantastic. And as a reminder from the very beginning of the year, sitting over there on that bookcase is the caddy talisman. I'm not allowed to swing a golf club for about 6 to 8 weeks, but I can provide caddying advice.
Yeah, that's why I've been saving. I waited until it was hot in the summer so that one of us could caddy and the other one can relax.
I think that's great. Looking forward to it. So aside from John Paul's sad surgery tomorrow, it's good. It's good. We're glad it's happening. We're sad that it means several weeks of no golf. Let's talk about something great that happened a couple weeks ago, our mini major in Midway.
So to just give a recap of where that is, we went to...
It's in the Wasatch Mountains.
It's Wasatch. It's Wasatch Mountain Golf Course. Is that what it's called?
Wasatch Mountain Golf Course.
That's what it is. Wasatch Mountain.
And it's in the Wasatch Mountains.
And it's a state park to boot.
It is.
So it's up by Sundance, where Sundance used to be, Park City area.
Yep.
So we went up there as a group, rented a cabin, and we got the opportunity to golf at this course. And if you ever have the opportunity, I would highly recommend that course. It was gorgeous. We did the Lakes course because there was a tournament going on the mountain course.
Yep.
And I wanted to go back and play that one because everyone says that one's the nicer one, but I loved the
for the price that we paid. It was quite great. I mean, don't get anybody wrong. It was not a Pebble. It was not a Torrey, but for how much the round cost, the price to value ratio is extremely high.
It is. The views were amazing. My favorite thing about that course, though, is that there are many ways to play many of the holes. Like you can strategize around that course.
The par fours and par fives aren't just, okay, grab your driver, how hard can you hit it? Like, this one dog legs 90 degrees right. You got to either really hit it right where you're going to, or you got to lay up with like a 3-wood or a 5-wood.
And like there was a par 4 that we played. We all had a pretty good outcome on that par 4. There's no hitting driver on that par 4 because you'll end up in the ravine. You're dead. It's guarded by a ravine on the front, so you have to lay up. But you literally have to think about where you want to land it so you know how much you're leaving yourself and what club you want to hit for your second to determine what you pull out for your bag. I think I hit 7 iron, 9 iron. It was beautiful. It was a stunning golf hole.
I think the only hole that I feel like was a little bit of a miss was hole 9. It was just really confusing where you're supposed to hit.
Oh, yeah.
And there was, that one was a bit of a
Once we realized, John Paul kept looking. He's like, where are you guys aiming? It's to the left, to the left. We're like, no. It literally turns to the right like 90 degrees. It's a long par 5.
But it opened up to the left as well for some reason.
Even when we got up there, John Paul's like, I still don't know where I'm going.
I got so disgusted on it that I just stood up to the ball and I said, okay, Cody, aim me. Left, right, which way am I going? I'm just going to swing. Just point me somewhere.
Yeah.
And it was a beautiful course. Had a fantastic time. I will say our time on the course was significantly elevated by our 4th player that was paired with us for the day.
Oh, yeah.
Brandon.
So we got paired with a wonderful man named Brandon from Kansas and was out here. His wife was on a business trip, so he's like, all right, I'll go. I'll do some golf. Fantastic golfer.
Incredible. The best player I've ever played with.
His swing was buttery smooth, and his arms were as thick as tree trunks.
He could hit the ball farther than anything I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I didn't know you could physically hit a ball that
the
far.
The sound the ball made when it hit off of his driver.
Yeah. And hole 13, it was one where it dog-legged right very hard. It was a 90 degree. We got up. We decided to play the front individually. Back, we scrambled. So we got up. John Paul hit a ball. He hit it to the left. I hit one, and it curved a little to the right. We couldn't tell if it was in play. Cody went up and hit one as well, and it looked like it was also...
I hit a 5-wood that was in... It didn't quite take the cut of the corner, but it was just further back in the fairway. It was the safe play because weren't sure if we were going to find yours. We did.
Yeah, it ended up being
yours
perfect.
was a great shot. Brandon took his shot and he decided to go driver and cut the corner significantly, and he just hit the heck out of that ball.
That ball,
it flew.
It was gone instantly, just flying.
Well, and I thought it was perfect because where we lined up, like where it was going, we're like, that's either going to be like on the far end of the fairway. And so where Eric's shot was, he was, if a dog leg right where we're hitting it, think of him on the right side of the fairway, just between like the fairway and the fringe on the right. So it was like on the short side. We couldn't find his ball anywhere.
Yep.
He had to have cleared past the fairway and past the rough.
Just to be clear, Brandon did this.
It had to have been over 350 yards.
Yeah, yes. I mean, it was insane. And we thought he'd cut the corner pretty aggressively, and he still blasted through the fairway. And sadly, he had to take a drop, which was sad. But aside from the fact that the guy could hit the golf ball like nothing, he was just a delightful human being.
Yes.
He was easy to talk to. He played fast and was very encouraging throughout the round. There were none of those weird, awkward silences when we'd hit terrible shots. He chuckled just the right amount. And he was just the perfect fourth. You can't get a better fourth. So, Brandon, if you're ever listening to this, shout out, man. Please come play with us again.
If you're ever in Utah,
just look us up. We want to play with you again. You were fantastic, and we all dream one day of being able to hit the ball 1/10 as well as you hit your driver.
Yeah, if you're ever in Utah, let us know. We'll take you to our home course and show you its secrets.
It's a great time.
The round on our super cheap course is on us. We will pay.
It won't be as nice as the course we played together, but it's a fun one still.
Should we give updates on the boss battle through that?
Sure, just a quick one.
I was able to get Clive, and so I slayed him. I was also able to get a Puttergeist on that one.
Nice.
I had a good day with the boss battle book that day. I took out a Green Warden, I got a Water Hazard Wizard, I got a Fairway Phantom, and I got a Dragon of Duffington. I am to the place now with my boss battle thing that Clive is all that's left, the Bunker Beast. I've not been in the sand. It's the only thing I got left.
The only thing that I have left is a Water Hazard Wizard, just because I haven't played water much.
Yeah, our home course does not put us on the back very often, and that's where the water features are. There's no water available on the front 9. So we just don't have as many opportunities to go for it.
That's what you get for living in the middle of the desert.
It's
That's
true.
fair. That's fair.
So my book, the only thing that I have left that I am missing is one Dragon of Duffington. I have everything else checked off with multiples. I got a Green Warden today. At Wasatch, I got a Water Hazard Wizard there. But that's all I'm hunting for is the Dragon of Duffington, and I almost had it today.
And we're
I duffed one shot.
We're super pleased to announce that Cody has not duffed any more putts.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
true.
that's true.
That was a one and done, folks.
Hey, I don't know when we can insert this in the episode. Can I have a moment for celebration?
Yeah,
Sure.
let's do it.
After the Wasatch, the front nine on Wasatch, which we played, we put that into the Gin app, and I have a celebration because I posted a pretty decent score up there, and my current standing handicap is 17.9. That is a lifetime bucket list accomplishment for me to have a sub 18 handicap. I've talked about it on the podcast. It's not going to last very long after I get my head cut off and sewn back on. But right now, at this moment, and presumably because I'm not playing any more golf for the next several months, I'll be able to maintain a sub 18 handicap for at least the next 2 months while I don't play.
You're going to take this chance to retire from the sport?
Yeah, I'll just walk away. Huh?
See, I thought you were going to bring up after that round, we went and found a mini golf course and played where you told me that I suck at golf.
That was so much fun.
That was a great time.
Oh, we totally forgot to talk about that. We found a golf course that purports to be the finest mini golf course in the state of Utah. I can guarantee it's not. I've played virtually every mini golf course that I played in Utah is vastly superior in both structure, design, layout, customer service, quality, and upkeep to this course. But we decided we were going to play skins.
And it was a fun little round.
It was.
John Paul ended up winning quite a bit, and then Eric got a good solid second. But when the game was out of hand and we were just kind of screwing around a little bit at the end, I went to go and just putt from 3 feet out towards the hole. And right as the ball was about to drop in the hole, John Paul hits it away with his putter and looks at me and goes, "You suck at golf."
And Eric lost it. I thought he was going to hyperventilate
It was
laughing.
one of the funniest things.
It was fantastic.
I think it was just because the incredulous look on my face. I was like, I cannot believe you just did that.
He was
And
so
it wasn't
wounded.
like it wasn't a mean. It was just a you suck at golf.
You suck at golf. Boink.
It's ridiculous. We're ridiculous.
And it just was rubbing salt in the wound because Cody played pretty much the same round as John Paul, and his handicap went up for some dumb reason. And so it was just more adding to the salt.
Still a little bit bitter about that.
Yeah.
It was.
Because I was one stroke off of John Paul from our course, and my handicap went up and his dropped down.
It's fantastic.
All right, it's time for today's Talk Nerdy to Me.
For today's Talk Nerdy to Me, I wanted to ask you guys a question. If you could live like your life, just pick yourself up right now and plop yourself down in the middle of an alternative world, sci-fi, fantasy, or wherever, where would you go?
Do we get to say when as well?
Sure.
Okay.
Why, you going to go to like this world here? You're going to go French Revolution? Like
No, I was going to say Gormand pre-Empire.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I can see you
I could live
living there.
happily there. But that's kind of a lame one. Go ahead,
That's
John
Star
Paul.
Wars, by the way.
Yeah. Andor specifically, if you're interested.
Mine's easy and boring. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
I would be a Starfleet officer on a Starfleet vessel somewhere in the United Federation of Planets. I'm going middle to late Star Trek The Next Generation.
Do we get to choose our job too?
Well, I don't think command officers for me. I'm not that cool. I'm happy to be like a transporter chief or one of the little hands that is constantly realigning dilithium crystals. Can't you see me in the yellow jumpsuit? I'd roll up my sleeves jauntily. But my father and all of my brothers were huge Trekkies growing up. And so Trek is very special to me. And I love Star Wars and I love fantasy and I'm into all of that. You can be all of it. But in my heart of hearts, there's something about the United Federation of Planets and the codes of Starfleet that speak to me on a very deep level. And so if I really do hope that that's what the future has in store for us. I really do hope that that trust and that altruism is who we one day become. And I would love to see that.
You know, I actually wrote an essay on this.
All right, so what did you pick?
I did. Hold on. I wrote an essay on why the world will never become like Starfleet.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
quite depressing because I have that same hope and wish. I do not think that we can come together like the United Federation to do what they do.
We need the Bell Riots. We need the Bell Riots. You got to wipe out a significant portion of the humans on the planet to get to that place.
I mean, look at us. We can't even decide what type of phone plug to put on our phones.
This
It's
is
USB-C,
true.
folks. USB-C.
And then when we put the phone plug into the phone, it doesn't make that satisfying Star Trek noise. I need that noise in my life. I'm tired of like using a wrench to take things off my car. I just want to walk up to it, push it in just a spot with my finger and have it and separate, and I can take it off. I need that tech in my life.
So I had a couple I wanted to discuss at first as just kind of like silly ones. One, I'm going to say Minecraft creative mode, not survival.
I'm not in it.
No.
Not into it.
I'd get tired of square things.
The other one would be like Animal Crossings.
I never played that game.
No.
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 Or like a Stardew Valley and just kind of like maintain your own little farm. But
No. And definitely not StarCraft. That's horrible. That's so much stress all the time. It's got to be the most stressful sci-fi universe that exists. Except maybe XCOM might be slightly more stressful.
Oh, I don't know. Some of them are pretty bad.
But let's go with Super Mario World, living with the Toad people.
What's the
I can totally see you commuting to work on a Yoshi.
Yoshi.
What color Yoshi is your commuting car?
Probably blue.
You like a blue Yoshi
Like
to
a
go
blue-
back and forth?
Yeah, because he can eat a shell and then start flying.
What kind
I'd be
of
like,
mileage?
Oh no, I'm late. I need to cut the corner.
What kind of mileage do you get on those blue ones?
I get about 4 pixels to the inch. I don't know, just not like Mario or anybody like in the turmoil, but the people that like in their castles are just kind of hanging out and they're having a good time, like in their cities. Right?
Okay. There's a Super Mario Galaxy is one of my favorite games. And in one of the places where the toads are hanging out waiting for Mario to get there, there's one of them that's asleep on a mushroom. And he says really funny things. And now every time I play that game, I'm just going to see you sleeping on that mushroom. He's like, it comes up with like the sleepy dots. And he's like, roast beef.
Okay, so let's spitfire. What are the worst worlds to live
We
in?
haven't got Eric's yet.
Real quick, mine would be Final Fantasy IX. That one, I love the flying ships. It's kind of steampunk era. I like it.
That would be cool.
Not during the battles.
It's the thing. It's trying to gauge like peaceful era versus, like I think of like Lord of the Rings. I don't think there's a safe time to live anywhere in Middle Earth.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
There's always something going on. There's always the danger of orcs and
Hyrule, same thing.
it's always under attack from Ganon.
Hyrule sucks because you get like a 1 year period of peace, and then Ganon owns it for like 300 years. And then Link comes along and gets you like 1 year of peace, and then Ganon takes it over for like 300 years. It's like the worst place to live in the world is Hyrule.
Okay, so Middle Earth worst. We're gonna say that Hyrule is also on the worst. What else is on our worst list?
How about Blade Runner? Oh my gosh, the Blade Runner universe. Oh, that's rough.
like chasing down replicants or just in general?
It's just huge. Like there are no good guys. Nobody's a good guy.
Okay, so you're like cyberpunk,
Yeah.
like even cyberpunk itself. That would be a crazy world to live
Oh
in.
yeah.
Mad Max.
Oh,
Be a
yeah.
terrible, terrible world to live in.
Or Waterworld, the opposite of that.
Waterworld.
Metroid. If I lived in the Metroid
Oh.
universe, I would get killed once every 3.6 seconds.
The Stargate, living on one of the Stargate worlds
yeah.
with the Gould. Ugh. I do not want a worm in my belly.
But at the same time, I don't know. The stories that we watch are all about conflict because that's what makes the story. I'm sure there's plenty perfectly peaceful places that would be enjoyable to be on. Like you said, Gorman pre-Empire. It's probably a lovely place.
Before
Do you know
it's-
what would be a fun one? Is I could sell Chinese food in the Fifth Element. You are fired.
That would be a great one. Good fortune for you.
Good fortune for you. You are fired. Oh.
That is one of my favorite sci-fi movies.
I love that.
I
movie
love
so
The Fifth
much.
Element.
It's so weird though.
Hey.
At the same time,
Oh, it's way
It's
weird.
way weird. And I read an interview, a part of an interview. Gary Oldman, who plays the main antagonist, was given knighthood a couple weeks ago. He's now Sir.
He deserves it.
Gary Oldman. Oh, yeah, totally. But they asked him what the worst movies he's ever done is, and he hates The Fifth Element.
What?
And his wife really likes it. And his wife is trying to talk him into thinking that it's a good movie. And he said he can't get over the fact that he had to shave off half of his hair and wear rubber for months.
That's fair. It's a weird look. Really quick on The Fifth Element, what I was just going to say, one of my favorites is the guy that tries to rob Bruce Willis in his apartment and has the hat shaped like the
Keep
Holly.
it! I don't need it!
Nice hat. You like it?
Thanks. You like it? Keep it! I don't need it! I don't need it!
No, I identify as a meat popsicle.
I love that movie. It's so good. What's the matter with you? Every time there's a bomb or something, I'm leaving.
Terrible world to live in, though.
agreed.
Yep. It's time for another discussion here at the turn, and we want to talk a little bit about golf on a deeper level. Golf is a game that has a storied history. There's a lot of tradition. There's a lot of history. There's some beautiful things. I had the opportunity this last summer to go to St. Andrews and check out the old course, and it's just steeped in that feeling of history. There's a great deal of respect for the game there, and it brings up an interesting discussion topic for us here around this table. We all love golf. What are the elements of the game that we show respect for? Like, what are ways that we show respect for the game, and what are the traditions that we think maybe don't matter, that should just die away?
Something that we haven't done when we first started playing, but I've noticed that we do it a lot more now, and I kind of appreciate it, is the post-round hat-off handshake, even amongst us.
Yeah.
Even amongst our group or even whoever we're playing with. And I've noticed that if you just, after a round, if you just go up and shake somebody's hand or give them a fist bump, they're cool. If you take off their hat, they follow suit and will take off their hat and give
take
you a
off
handshake.
Your own hat. No, you don't go up and
Don't
take
take
somebody
off the other
else's.
guy's
Sorry.
hat. That's very rude.
I'd allow it. But I think that's a tradition of a way of showing respect to the game. Now, if we're going as far back as pure traditions, like, I'm fine with shorts staying in the game.
Yeah.
Though...
Oh, especially here in the summer, it's too hot. There's no way you can wear pants.
Actually, I take it kind of back, just a teensy little bit, because it's in the high 90s right now. That's just really hot. When we play a really nice course, like when we played Torrey, and I did this when we played Pebble, anybody that knows me knows that I am a shorts man.
Mm-hmm.
I am a large man. I like to wear shorts because I get hot. I wore pants both of those rounds.
Okay.
Out of respect for the course.
Say it's the middle of summer. We're going to Black Desert, St. George, Utah, which is 115 degrees. Are you still wearing pants?
No, because Black Desert does not have the same prestige as Pebble Beach or Torrey Pines.
Okay.
Agreed.
But it's a nice course.
Of course, it is, but it doesn't have the history.
Okay, so it's about history for you.
And I have to say, when I was over in the UK, and for those who never get the chance to go to St. Andrews, it isn't one golf course. There's the old course at St. Andrews, but there's like 6 courses all on that same peninsula, and they're all connected. They're all kind of part of the same thing. And people were dressed nicely there.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know. Do you feel like dress on the course matters? We don't need to dive deep into that,
Well,
but
your shirt today, I mean, I love your shirt.
It's pretty spectacular.
But it's not, if someone went up to you, they wouldn't be like, that is like respectful. Like you wouldn't wear that. But it's
please.
a great shirt. I love it.
I would wear this shirt on any golf course. It is a golf polo with collared, and it is made for golf. I'm talking about, does it bother you if someone goes out in board shorts and a tank top?
Yeah, and here's my answer to that. I think it has everything to do with where you are playing. In our home course that we play here, I don't care what you wear. If you are wearing anything that covers you, shorts, pants, kilts, I don't care. You're fine. If you want to wear a t-shirt out there, a hoodie, None of that is going to bother me here. I think it has to do with where you're playing, and I think the litmus test is almost, I don't even think it's PGA Tour readiness. I think it has to do with history. I think if the golden age of that course was historical, you dress a little bit nicer for that. I would never dream, and obviously they're not going to let me on Augusta National for any reason anyway. I wouldn't even step on the grounds of Augusta National without a collar and long pants. I'm not even stepping on the grounds as a spectator.
So if you went to the Masters, you're wearing golf pants with a collared shirt every day?
You betcha. All the time.
I think it also depends on when you're playing. Because, for example, there was a tournament that I saw that it was like a father-son thing on a Saturday, and it was just fun and cute. Like, there's no way you're getting your kid to dress up like that. And you can wear whatever you like, even if it's a nice course, you're just there to have fun. It's not a serious round. But if you're taking the round seriously, you're showing respect to that course. You dress nicely.
And it depends, because there's lots of players that I don't care, what people wear. I wear what I wear because it's a way that I like to respect the game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't expect other people to have my same standards.
Correct.
But if they're following the course rules, I could care less.
Yeah, and you're exactly right there, because we talk about growing the game all the time. I think golf belongs to everybody on a certain level. And I think golf clothes, golf clubs, golf equipment can become very elitist. Even if you want to go to the extreme, the tees can become elitist.
As we heard last.
No, but literally anything can be elitist. I think that there need to be entry-level courses with entry-level clothing and entry-level clubs. I think we need venues that are good for that. The reason why I dress in traditional golfing attire when I go to golf has nothing to do necessarily with me respecting the game. It's trying to put myself in the mindset of I'm golfing, and it's a special event for me, and this is what I consider golfing attire.
Yeah, and if somebody else doesn't think that same way, that is absolutely fine. As long as if the course says that this is what's allowed and that's what they wear, who cares?
Yeah. If you have any dissenting opinions, feel free to reach out to us. Let us know.
Can I talk about one more thing on this at the turn, though?
Yeah, there's a couple that I wanted to bring up.
There's one that I think is respectful to the game that I see sliding more and more and more, and it really does bother me. And so I'm going to be an old man shaking my fist at the clouds for a moment, and I'm going to say, if you want music on the golf course, turn it down, because I don't want to hear it 3 holes away.
Agreed.
Okay, that I don't mind if you want a little ramp up music in the privacy of your own cart. I think if the people behind you can tell what the song is, it's too darn loud, turn it down.
I agree. And, there's a lot of companies out there advertising Bluetooth speakers for your golf cart and such. It's just a volume issue.
Yeah,
agreed.
Now, there's a hole on our course. I think it's,
it's so
5
bad.
or 6. This isn't somebody on the course having their music too loud, but somebody out of their house bought these 15-inch, mid speakers and cranked it up to 11, because you can hear it at the clubhouse when they're playing their music, and there's a tee box literally right outside their backyard.
It is hardcore, very sweary rap. And I'm not a fan, and it's really hard to concentrate on that tee box when they've got it thumping.
It's very loud. It's loud to the point to where it's significantly hard to focus.
I think it's actually loud enough that we could say it's physically painful. Like it hurts.
And if we're that far away, I can't imagine what they're doing to themselves in that course or in that house. One other thing that I feel is really important and a way to respect golf in a different way, fix your pitch marks on the green.
And to caveat off that, pick up your tees. If your tee breaks and you see it, pick it up. We don't need a tee box full of tees.
So I'll have this. Maybe this is not known by a lot of people out there. I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna go with the assumption that they don't know. I know they're just being lazy, but next to the ball markers or next to the tee box markers, there's generally kind of a scoop of sand and seed and stuff to put down.
Mm-hmm.
Also, usually next to that is an empty container that is perfect for putting used tees, like a mini trash can, so that they're all in one place.
Mm-hmm.
Fix your pitch marks, take care of your tees, take care of the course, and it'll take care of you. Everybody complains when the conditions on the golf course are crap. And people unknowingly are contributing to that. There's only so much that they can do
We're
in terms of like
responsible for
repairing.
those conditions. Now, for an information moment, this is a public service announcement on how to appropriately fix your ball mark on the green. Place the fork near the pitch mark and push the fork towards the pitch mark in the middle. Do not lift up from underneath the pitch mark, because that just rips the roots out of the ground and kills the grass, and then you get all those stupid little dead patches. And anybody who golfs a really busy golf course is going to see those dead patches all over the green. You're pushing the grass into the hole from the sides. You're not pulling it up to fill the hole.
Yes, and there are lots of great YouTube videos that can show you the proper way to do this. And I'm going to throw in one more while we're on this topic. Rake the sand trap.
Can we elaborate on that moment? For the love of man, rake the sand traps.
I cannot tell you how many times we walk past a sand trap, and we've talked about how we're sand trap averse. We do not end up in bunkers very often just because we intentionally avoid them.
John Paul was trying for it today and didn't get in any.
And that's okay, but I'm saying that every single time we've walked past a bunker, there's at least 20 footsteps in there. It doesn't take long to rake the bunker, and it just makes it for a much nicer experience for the next person that's unfortunate to land in there.
The only thing that's worse than landing in a bunker is landing in a bunker and then getting up there to find out that you're in a footprint in the bunker. It's just demoralizing.
The only thing that's possibly worse is landing in a divot in the fairway.
It's true.
Oh, that's so weird. USGA, please. We need free relief from divots in the fairway. It hurts no one to fix this. No one. You shouldn't be penalized for hitting the fairway. Change the rule.
Real quick before
we just talked about the history, man. It's history.
Just to do a quick little in the episode Mulligan moment, I wasn't trying to diss on your shirt. Your shirt is amazing. And for the viewers, it is a Donald Duck and his nephews golfing, and it is an incredible shirt. But yeah, I was just the point I was trying to make was like it's fun and it's silly and I love it. It's a great shirt.
Shout out to Roosevelt's, because that's the brand of this shirt. Mm-hmm. And I love the material. Their prints are always fun. But my favorite thing about them, they make golf shirts for a big guy like me. That is rare.
I need to get one of those.
It is a
those
win.
Are nice shirts.
I love all of their clothing that they make. They have some really fun ones.
I need that exact shirt. In a smaller size, but yes, that exact shirt.
I'm not giving you the shirt off my back.
No,
not today.
And that one's got a curry stain on it right now.
I'll clean it off. We had curry for dinner and I spilled.
All right, so is there anything that we need to get rid of? We talked about things that we love, the traditions that we like. I'll go, one tradition that I think is kind of dumb and one that we can't really do is this stigmatism around changing your shoes.
In the parking lot?
In the parking lot. I haven't been to a golf course where you were able to go inside and have like a locker to change. And so I feel like it's dumb to even have that as like Rick Shields did a whole episode on it.
It really depends on your course. And that's probably a geographical thing and a course thing. If you're a member at a private club, almost assuredly they're going to have a locker room where you can go and change.
Okay.
That is not where we play. We play public courses or even private courses that allow public members to play. There just are no locker rooms for us to change into. Could you imagine showing up to our local muni and saying like, hey, where's the locker room so I can go change? The guy's just going to look at you like you're crazy. We just don't have those facilities. And I think that comes to the type of course that we play on.
Okay.
Can I give you a super hot take, one that's going to be very controversial?
Well, that's what we're here for.
Yeah. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
This is going back far enough in time to get rid of something that we consider a tradition, but going back to in a time before that tradition existed. The concept of par, I think, is detrimental to many players. So if you go back to the early history of golf, all golf was played match play. It was always played match play, and then you had a gentleman's agreement how many strokes you were going to give somebody on a particular course. But it wasn't like there was a par 5 or a par 4 or a par 3. It wasn't a par 72 course. You just went out and you played against your buddies, and whoever finished that hole in the fewest strokes won the point for that hole. In the UK, almost all of the golf is still played match play. We're obsessed with par here in this country, and it's a great way to do it. It's a utopiistic idea, but I feel like for people who are just getting into the game, the only thing par does is beat you down. That's all it does, is it makes you feel bad about your score when you should be out there having a good time.
Well, and to add on to the history layer for you, John Paul, did you know that the term bogey was originally the score that a good player was expected under ideal conditions on that hole?
Mm-hmm.
Par was added later.
I know this. And I feel like how much more relaxing would the game of golf be, especially when you're first learning, when you don't have to sweat about the fact, yes, Rory McIlroy can finish this par 4 in 3 strokes half of the time, and he's going to tap in par half of the time. Well, we're not him. We're not him. And maybe 5 or 6 is a perfectly acceptable score on that hole.
And I think that's just people needing to maybe learn that that's okay. Like we've gone through a little bit of this with Eric, him not really being into like traditional sports or watching any of those, not watching much sports or being involved in it very much. There have been things that we've talked about with him that just to help his understanding, because you talked about certain rules that we should change a couple weeks back, or a couple months back and a lot of that just comes down to like, look, when you're learning golf or trying to get better, if there's a rule that's like really bothering you, then you're an amateur just learning to play. You don't have to play that rule. Mm-hmm. If do it to where you enjoy it.
Yeah.
And if you want to elevate your game, which is what we're trying to do, then I think that's where you have to be a little bit sticklers with the rules.
I think you're absolutely correct. Let me give you one scenario in which I think this is most poignant, and let's talk about the par 3. During the U.S. Open this last week, there was a par 3 that was 301 yards. 301 yards for a par 3. Okay, none of us is hitting that. I mean, you could hit a ball 301 yards, Cody. I'm not saying that.
Maybe.
Holding a green, not a chance. No. It's not going to happen. So if I get to a par 3, my mindset for a par 3 is about 150 to 160 yards. I feel like that's fair. I can have a shot of holding a green at 150 to 160 yards. Par 3s that get close to 200 yards, especially when there's a forced carry over water, I don't have that club. I don't have it. I have to be able to shut off my brain and say, I know this says it's a par 3. I'm going to hit a 7-iron to the front of the water and pitch a shot onto the green. I'm not getting there in 1.
Today, R9, I think, is a par 3, and I think it played 175 to the green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And none of us hit the green. We didn't.
No, I took a 7 wood and was still 10 yards short.
Can I tell you something that I've had a little bit different mindset the past several weeks? I've put a decent score in past 3 golf rounds that I've played, and I've seen a nice downward trend on my handicap for in the Gin app, which I must have bribed them a little more or something.
Mm-hmm.
But
did you in-app purchase the lower handicap?
Yeah, I missed that screen the first time. But I was so focused on if I had a bad hole, now that means I need to try and make this up even more. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, oh no, I double bogeyed that. I have to try and go for a birdie and, do everything that I can to make that possible when I just don't have the skills to tell myself that I can do that. What I've been trying to do lately is really reset every single hole. And it's like, this is a par 4. My plan is to hit a driver to about 150, 140 out, follow it up with a nice smooth 8-iron and 2-putt. I tell myself that that's my goal when I'm teeing off. Mm-hmm. And then wherever my shot lands, I go there and reassess. Okay, my goal now is I either need to punch out from under this tree or I landed in the fairway. I'm still going to hit my approach. I'm reassessing every single hole instead of, oh no, I have to hold this out from 180 yards out or I'm not doing good. Mm-hmm. And I really used to get in my head, and I feel like I'm doing a lot better at that now.
Yeah, and that's the way to a blow-up hole. That's absolutely the way to a blow-up hole because you try and pull off some hero shot that you don't have in the bag. All right, folks, I've got one that I want to talk about here, and I don't know exactly what we would call this segment, so maybe we'll just kind of riff it and put some fancy music in front of it. But I do want to talk about a particular piece of equipment. Now, before we talk about this piece of equipment, I want to make it very clear that we are not sponsored by this company at all. This is not a sales plug. Although if they did want to reach out to us and throw some sponsorship our way, I would not complain. But we're going to talk just a few minutes about birdie balls. So the birdie ball looks like a napkin ring, and it purports to strike very much like a golf ball, but because of the way it catches the air in the air, they won't travel more than 50 yards no matter how hard you hit them.
It feels like a piece of PVC.
It does. And it seems like a dumb thing to buy these little things that look like PVC napkin rings. They're one of my favorite pieces of golf equipment. I just got back from a week-long camp with some young men. I took some trashed old golf clubs out there that were worth nothing. I took some birdie balls, and we went out around our campsite and just picked random things to be a flag, and we would play closer to the flag, or we would say, oh, it's a par 3 to get over there, or it's a par 4 to get to that water spigot, or over there to the tree across the way is a par 5. And took some teenagers who really haven't played a lot of golf ever, if ever, have played golf, and we had a fantastic time. How do you feel about playing golf not on a golf course?
I love it.
I mean, we kind of invented a game. We call it neighborhood golf. We play from John Paul's driveway to Eric's driveway.
I will
it's
say
a par 3.
It is.
Play it with a caveat of playing with respecting your environment. We play with these birdie balls that can do absolutely no damage to anything. We're not playing with real golf balls here. There are people that I've been mowing my lawn and had a golf ball land next to me. I don't know who hit it, but it was not responsible in any way. So play responsibly, folks.
It is. So basically what we do is we have some trash pitching wedges that we've bought at secondhand thrift stores. None of them are worth anything. The bottoms of them are chewed to nothing from making contact with asphalt. And we basically have some rules that we play, and we have to this guy's house is a par 4, to this guy's house is a par 3, and we enjoy playing it. Again, a birdie ball is not heavy enough to do significant damage to life, limb, or property, and so we're not really endangering anybody by playing them. But it does feel just a little bit exciting and fringe to be out in the middle of the street whacking a golf ball as hard as you can.
The fairway is very narrow.
It is. It's a good time. And I agree with Eric's sentiment. Be smart, be respectful of people's property and don't cause any damage. But a birdie ball is a great way to just, I can't get to the golf course but want to swing something, and it's fun.
Yeah.
You bet. And we talk about growing the game, right? One of the problems is that all of us who are avid golfers always say, oh, well, we got to grow the game. But secretly, we don't want the game to grow. We don't, because that means it's harder to get a tee time. And so anyway, we can grow the game where we're not actually adding traffic to a golf course is a huge win. And we live in Utah. There's wide open spaces everywhere. We took some cheap, crummy golf equipment down to St. George and played in the middle of the desert.
And oddly enough, we came out with more golf balls than we went in with.
That's true. We picked up every ball that we hit into this desert and some, because we found some while we were out there. We carried it all out with us, and we carried it back. Which
was a little disappointing because we kind of thought we'd invented this game, and then we came across some other golf balls.
I think that was just people hitting out.
We hadn't.
I don't think. But what we did is we took a hula hoop, and we found a spot where there was a nice, we were kind of on a cliff face, and we would use that as an elevated tee box. We'd throw the hula hoop out, and depending on how it landed, how far out, we'd decide what par was together, and then we'd try to go for it.
And we also brought the birdie balls up with us when we went camping with our families.
Mm-hmm.
And we, but around our campsite, we were hitting the birdie balls towards the target. It's great.
Love that. We played it on the road leading up to it, walked around. There's like a little walking path. We played it through there. It was one of my favorite times playing golf ever.
Yeah. So you don't have to be on the golf course to enjoy golf. Just get yourself a foam ball or a birdie ball, or I don't know.
I feel like the birdie ball is worth the investment because those foam balls, you hit it once and it's just destroyed. Yeah. But those birdie balls, they last a good few rounds. They're worthwhile investment.
Ours are starting to get a little beat up. It might be time to buy some new ones, but great times.
So I have one final thing to bring up before our birdie bev on this episode.
Dun, dun, dun.
And it's a little bit of an honesty moment.
Okay.
John Paul.
Okay.
Oh.
On hole number 8 today.
Yes.
You hit your driver and you hit your shot quite well. What did I do with my drive?
You hit your. I feel very bad about this, but you did block your ball quite badly, right? OB.
It wasn't OB.
Oh, it wasn't OB.
It wasn't
We found
OB.
it.
We found it. Why did I do that? Besides sucking at golf.
Well, mostly it was the sucking at golf, but Cody has taken to this pre-shot routine where he steps up to the ball, and while he's addressing the ball, he kicks his feet behind him. Now, he's doing this to clear stuff out of his cleats and to gain grip on the ground because he's a power hitter, which is great. But it looks like a wild boar about to charge, and so I rather unkindly made some wild boar sounds while you were addressing the ball. Now, not while you were actually striking the ball. It was significantly before you were striking the ball.
Lining up.
I was addressing the ball.
He was.
He was addressing the ball, but he was not in his backswing or anything of that nature. But he was very upset about it. So I do owe you an apology. I'm sorry that I made wild boar sounds at you.
Well, you don't need to apologize too much, because after you hit your drive and watched it sail off into the sunset, how much time did you spend looking for your tee?
So Eric picked up a tee behind me, and I thought that it was my tee that he had picked up. And then he threw it at you, and I realized it wasn't my tee. And I looked everywhere for everywhere. You guys were driving off. And so
There's a reason for that.
I got no help with the tee, and then I found out that my tee was not to be found anywhere on the box. And so I just I didn't have time. I had to get back in the cart and drive. And so I had to abandon a tee on the course. And you know how much this hurts me.
Oh, you would have been looking for a long time.
Did you take my
Because
tee?
while you were watching your ball sail towards the fairway, I grabbed your tee and chucked it into the woods.
You chucked my tee into the woods?
And that's why when we were walking off,
That is infinitely worse than making boar noises before somebody hits the ball.
and that's why when he was like, Eric, you going to help him look? I was like, no.
Oh, no. And then Eric's walking off. And normally Eric's a very helpful guy. And I look over at Eric and I was like, but my tee. And he says, it serves you right. And he just gets in his car and drives away.
It was very
so
rude.
harsh.
Very insensitive of John Paul to make those noises to Cody.
You threw my tee into the woods, though.
I did. So
I feel like that's an escalation of conflict. This is. Yeah.
it's why I'm telling you now. Because so I also apologize. Ben, I consider us even.
Okay,
Yeah,
fine.
I'd agree.
Let's have some peace talks. I'll stop making pig noises, but if you throw my tee into the woods again, I'm sending peacekeepers.
That's totally and that's fair. I normally would never do that. I know how much your plastic tees mean to you, and I know it's a big deal.
He spends
but in the
$10 a
moment,
tee.
I don't know. Maybe I am a wild boar. I saw red, and I was just like, "There's that tee." It was like,
Do you know what tee that is? That's the one with the bendy tip that
I
we
know
were
that
talking
you've had
about
forever.
in episode 10.
Oh, I
I've
saw
had
it.
for
I was
a
like,
long
"This is
time.
the well-worn tee." I bent down in one fell swoop, grabbed it, and chucked it. And Eric just went,
I would like all the listeners to know that I am now out 5 cents. I will have to spend a nickel on a new tee.
"You made pig noises at the fat man, dude."
It was
It had
very.
nothing to do with your weight. It has everything to do with the way you were scraping your
He
feet
didn't-
along the ground.
When someone's lining up to a tee and you're making pig noises at them, there's no knowing exactly what's in your head. It's
Well,
just how they take it.
In all fairness, I consider us quite even now. I'm not even upset. I had to tell you because you needed to know.
Birdie Bev, time for another Birdie Bev.
You guys both need to close your eyes while I pour this Birdie Bev.
All right, eyes closed.
Today's Birdie Bev's a mystery. I chose it, so John Paul and Eric do not know what it is. It is a not diet drink, so John Paul, take it easy.
It looks quite jaunty in our little steins.
It does. It's got a nice dark color to it.
Ooh, it smells good. Interesting.
Okay. I can see what they're doing here. I understand some of these words. My score is locked in, gentlemen.
So is mine.
Okay. I'm locked in.
You're locked in? Mm-hmm. All right. Non-diet scale. Eric, John Paul, and Cody.
6?
6, and a 7.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what is this?
This is Henry Weinhard's root beer.
Oh, interesting.
Is it really?
It's got like a hint of cherry to it or something.
It does. So do you want to talk about why we gave the ratings that we gave?
Yeah,
I thought it was.
I want to know.
I thought it was a very pleasant sort of flavor, but for me, it's a little acid. I don't know if that makes sense, but there's a little bit. It's almost kind of a vinegar finish, and it's not overdone. Sometimes the acid is really heavy-handed in some of these, but it's just a preference thing. I prefer the slightly less acid, more sweet notes, so it's not unpleasant and it's not offensive. I also don't detect a lot of complexity. It's very one-dimensional on my palate. It kind of got that one. It doesn't really start one way and finish another way. It starts the same way as it finishes. It's consistent throughout, and so it just doesn't have that. It's not a journey. It's a sip.
So if I rated mine just a little bit higher than both of you guys, and the thought that kind of runs through my head is that if I showed up to a party and this is what they had for root beers available, I'd be just fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd take it. The reason why I went with the 6 was I felt the aftertaste was a little aspartame-y or something like that. It doesn't, I know it isn't, but there's like some sort of chemical aftertaste that isn't amazing. So we've had some good ones that didn't have any of that.
So if you're curious on the ingredients, it starts with some carbonated water. Cane sugar is the sweetener in this,
Oh, I feel bad.
followed by flavors, and then sodium benzoate for
Flavors.
freshness, and then phosphoric acid.
Did you say for fleshness?
For freshness.
Oh, good. It is a vegetarian offering for fleshness.
For fleshness, we're adding in the Schweinsteiger.
The Schweinfleisch.
The Weinfleisch. Yeah.
It's
Okay,
leaps and bounds better than the last
This
one.
root beer comes with a free sausage.
So what is that? Like a 6.3 on average, something
Yeah.
like that.
6.3 6.3 repeating.
Yeah, that's okay. That's decent. I agree that we've had better, but it's not bad.
It's way better than the last one.
Oh, we don't speak of that.
That was terrible.
Strike it from the record.
It was so
awful.
bad.
Okay.
Close us out, John Paul, for the last time for a long time.
Thank you so much for listening to For the Record today. We appreciate your time. If you have enjoyed this podcast, please give us a positive review and give us a like. And we would love to hear from our listener base. If you've got questions, suggestions, things that you'd like us to talk about or would like to weigh in on something that we've spoken about, we would love to hear from you. You can also follow us on our socials or visit us at fortherecord.com. That's FORE, fortherecord.com.
And if you visit our website, at the bottom of our homepage, there's a contact form. That's how you can get in touch with us, or you can call us out on our socials on Instagram or Blue Sky.
Make sure to give us a 5-star rating and comment. It really helps out the pod.
And if you're a huge multi-billion-dollar company and you would like to sponsor us, we would welcome that.
And if you're not a multi-billion-dollar company and just want a sticker, shout us out. We'd love to send out some stickers.
Cheers.